Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next Avatar news update video. So we have more San Diego Comic-Con schedule kind of information, and we actually doubled the amount of Avatar panels that we have. In my previous video, I covered information on the first two panels, where we of course had the big announcement of the 20th anniversary panel that includes most of the voice cast. Jeremy Zuckerman plus Mike and Brian are going to be at this one, so that could be something interesting, maybe not. But we did also get the merchandise panel for also on Thursday, where we assume Jazzwares will have a big showing here because that's the big toy line that's coming out. But they're teasing that other toy partners will also be showing off like what's coming out over the next couple of months, kind of into the holiday season and the start of next year. That was kind of exciting. At the time, of course, we only had the Thursday schedule. Now we have the Friday and the Saturday schedule. We don't have Sunday yet, but like I said, we have two more panels to talk about. So first up, we do get our publishing panel. So on Friday, July 25th, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. So it's going to be more of a evening panel here. Interesting. We do get our Water, Earth, Fire, Air, continuing the Avatar Legacy panel, Abrams Books, Dark Horse Comics, Webtoon, and Magpie Games. They do mention Avatar and Korra here. Otherwise, it's not much of a description. The combined autograph session gives us a sense for who's actually going to be on the panel. Randy Rabai and Judy Lin are going to be on the panel, which is exciting because, of course, City of Echoes is out the week of San Diego Comic-Con, so she can talk about the book, of course, which is exciting. Randy Rabai, of course, I'm guessing is here because they will be revealing some information about Awakening of Roku. As for the rest of the panel, I'm assuming Cara O'Neill from Dark Horse is going to moderate again. They'll have someone from Webtoons there, and I'm guessing someone from Nickelodeon General Publishing, so they can talk about basically all aspects of the publishing. I guess they'll have a Magpie representative as well. So yeah, what are we expecting from this? So Abrams, of course, they'll do their usual stuff where they'll mention, you know, City of Echoes out that week. That's kind of exciting. I'm guessing, will mention like the Kyoshi Collector's Edition book or whatever. But we should probably have the description details maybe at the time, or they will reveal it here at this panel for Awakening of Roku, where we are looking for the cover, the description or synopsis for the book, and also clarification on the release date of the book as well, because of course a lot of places have changed it from October to December. So is it a placeholder date or what? When is it actually coming out? What's going on? Because it is the first panel since they've switched to now having two novel series that they're releasing every year, Chronicles of the Avatar and Avatar Legends. So that's kind of exciting. There's also, I suppose, the slight chance they do reveal maybe what's next for both series in terms of like what's Chronicles of the Avatar Book 7. Will they announce that we are in fact switching over to Karuk or not? It would be cool if they told us who the next character is for Avatar Legends. That would give us a real insight into what that series is going to be about, because it would highlight if we can switch eras or we're just doing ATLA characters, you know, that sort of thing. So Abrams have stuff, but Dark Horse are definitely the company who need to have a big Comic-Con, because yes, okay, they have Beasts of the Four Nations to talk about. By the time we get to the Comic-Con panel, like it'll be about what, 2 months away from the release of Beasts of the Four Nations. They can talk about that, but that book, you know, they've done a lot of the preview stuff already. The excitement's come down a little bit now that we've seen those preview pages. It just needs to release at this point. It'd be cool to get some context on it if they talk about it, but we're looking for new book announcements because they released all their books like back to back over the course of a few weeks at the start of the year. Mystery of Pension Island and Ashes of the Academy. We now need to know what's next. What is Korra one-shot comic number 2? Who the character is? What's going on there? Is it going to take a long time to come out? Have they fixed the scheduling stuff on that in terms of the art coming together? We don't know. Korra fans are desperate to know what's next. That's probably the big one that I really want coming out of this, because Dark Horse realistically have 3 announcements they kind of could and should make, but if they had to prioritize one, the Korra comic is the one I kind of want them to prioritize, because otherwise Korra is not getting a lot of attention. And so it is cool to at least see Korra mentioned here, whereas like, yeah, realistically, Dark Horse is probably the only company that's gonna tackle Korra stuff. But there is also the sense that, yeah, we don't know what's next for Avatar comics either. We assume it'll be Avatar one-shot comic number 7, which will be the start of a third one-shot comic trilogy. So it could be anyone, basically, that they do for that one. But we need an update there. And also the third thing from the anniversary press release, what is the comic mini-series that they teased in that press release? Is that something that's still happening? Because we've not got any details ever on that. And if it is meant to be this year, they kind of have to announce it here. So 3 things that they should talk about. We maybe do have to factor in that New York Comic Con is only a few months away at this point as well. They might want to save some of these announcements for there, just so not everything doesn't get revealed here and then there's nothing for New York Comic Con. So they might separate it out. All 3 of those things might not be announced here, but I kind of feel they need to announce it, like at least 2 of them, and we'll see what happens. Webtoon, I'm guessing they'll date when Korra comics are coming to the platform, because that was the one thing that was part of that announcement that they didn't do. Again, it's not original content, it is just Turf Wars Ruins of the Empire coming to the platform. Otherwise, why are they here? What are they going to talk about? The discussion is always going to surround Webtoons at these panels when it comes to, do you have the capacity to do original content? Is it going to happen anytime soon? Is there anything you can say about that? They mentioned it once before. Will they mention it again? Because otherwise it's like, yeah, we know what the comics are. Like, okay, vertical scroll format, cool, but why are you here? And kind of the same for Magpie. They have not had a great performance at quite a few of the last Comic-Cons. Voyage of the Unity is the new thing, but that's not out until like September, October next year. And it's done through like Kickstarter and mostly by Beetle and Grimm. Magpie are involved, of course, but not in the same way as like their other books. So when is their next book coming out? The Spirit World book, they need to detail that. They've at least confirmed work is still being done on that, so it is now about the time where they need to talk about that. That's one of the big things that I think definitely needs to be acknowledged here. Because if we have another poor performance from Magpie, I'm not really sure why they're on the panel at this point either, because we need to know what's next for the RPG. And then in terms of the other publishers, I suppose mainly Random House and so on, I assume they'll have slides going over stuff like I Am Sokka. We might get the cover revealed there. They'll have to detail the Bending Academy book series, because this is going to be the first panel since that book has been announced where they'll get to mention that. It'd be cool to see them detail that and maybe talk about Fire number 2, and just kind of cover some more details on like what we should expect from that. That could be cool. But yeah, you have stuff like the Paint by Numbers book, the Amigurumi book that have been announced that they could talk more about. There's lots of publishing stuff that they do have to talk about. Again, remember, New York Comic Con, they'll save some stuff for there because the 2 conventions are relatively close together. And the other thing to factor into this as well is that some of these publishers will have been affected by the release date change for the movie. The likes of like Random House, of course, would have had a bunch of books planned a few months ago for a January release for the movie. They now have to hold all those books back, like an entire lineup of books. They have to hold back for nearly an entire year until October next year. So they have a bit of a gap in their kind of lineup that they might have to move stuff around. And that might be why you see some publishers having some stuff and some publishers not having as much. And the same is true for like the merchandise stuff as well. Because of course Jazzwares are doing stuff for the movie eventually, but they're going to have to hold that movie stuff back until October, when they realistically had it ready probably for a January release. So all that stuff has to be factored in, but definitely publishing is where we expect news. Like if we don't get publishing news, I have no clue what we're doing here, because we have to know what's happening with the Roku Book 2, Awakening of Roku, and we have to get at least one announcement from Dark Horse, plus probably other stuff as well. So that's all cool. Now, we also do have a panel announcement for Saturday. And interestingly, as I click into this, it's the same as the merch panel. It's Merch Nation, Avatar: The Last Airbender toys, games, and action figures. But you can see here it is Saturday, July 26th, 4:30 to 5:30. But yeah, there are 2 of the exact same panel. The description is effectively the same. You know, I don't know what the real difference is. There's this slightly different wording. Sneak peek reveal at this one, whereas they reveal what's happening here. So it might be a thing where they more like, this is kind of maybe revealing like, here's wave 1. And then maybe this is sort of like, here's a preview of wave 2. So there might be some slight differences between the panels in that regard. Again, Jazzwares is probably the only company like absolutely locked in, confirmed to be at either of these two. Because I don't know what the other stuff is. Because toys make sense, Jazzwares have the master license. There are other licensees, but you know, what are game lines? What are they talking about here? There is stuff like, you know, Avatar Trivial Pursuit has just about been released recently. Avatar Clue, is this what they're talking about? Or what? Do they mean like the Kickstarter games, or like GameFound games, or something else? Are they going to talk about Avatar Magic the Gathering at either of these panels? That certainly does make sense. It'd be cool to give Avatar, you know, some of that stuff to actually promote. But I'm guessing part of the reason why they just have 2 panels is just it's a really good way to get information about the merchandise lines out there, that you give people 2 chances to get into that room, 2 chances to like win prizes. I'm guessing they're going to be giving away a lot of stuff just to get the stuff in people's hands. And that's why they have like, you know, the Zuko figure as the exclusive figure for the convention, and the Aang kind of blind box figure and the Zuko action figure. So that's interesting. So like again, 4 panels. 20th anniversary panel for ATLA, merch panel on Thursday, publishing panel on Friday, and then another merch panel on Saturday. Now, we do still have the schedule for Sunday to come out. My guess is there could be a third merch panel if they're really pushing it, but I'm guessing we probably won't have anything on Sunday. This is probably the full lineup that we have. There might be some signing stuff with some of the attendees, but I think this is the lineup of official panels that we are going to have for the convention. I'll do a video if we do have another announcement for Sunday, but right now this is what we have. I think it's looking quite good overall. Like, the best we've ever had before in the past was 2 panels, like a podcast panel and a publishing panel, and effectively this year we have sort of podcast panel plus with the anniversary panel. Because Mike and Brian are going to be there, there is some hope for a little bit of information. Not that I'm expecting anything huge, but you know, they're making a big deal out of it. For what reason? We'll have to wait and see. Publishing, of course, we expect news that has to deliver this time out, just because, like I've explained before. And then the merch. I actually find it very interesting that they're pushing the merch so much with regards to the exclusives that they have at the convention, the fact that there are 2 panels that they're going to do about it. I wonder how like public these are going to be. It'd be interesting if they maybe streamed one of them. That would be kind of cool, just to get it across as clearly as possible. But that's huge. You have to acknowledge that is a jump of like, we've doubled the amount of official panels we've had for Avatar. Kind of highlighting that, like, if they're going to go this hard, like the year before they really are ready to start marketing, then you kind of know that for next year, where it's much more timely, they probably are going to go all out. And like we would be probably expecting a full-on Avatar Studios panel at Comic-Con next year. New York Comic-Con is going to be a weird timing where it's like exactly a year to go. We might get something or not. We'll have to wait and see. But that's the situation there. Again, just to mention again, like Avatar Studio stuff, I think a tidbit of information is perhaps on the table, just because they are not hiding it anymore. You know, there's going to be the option for you to get a t-shirt or tote bag that has stuff related to the movie on it. Will it just be the logo or not? I'm not sure. As I mentioned before here, they do include at the end of the press release a mention about the movie, highlighting the release date, the director, and this little one-line tagline about what the movie is about. That's kind of new. So they're talking about it. The conversation has started. Mike and Brian have kind of come out of hiding to attend one of these panels for the first time in forever. Maybe. We'll see what happens here. So either way, we will get news. Will it be the big news we want? Probably not. But we've got 4 panels. That's exciting. In terms of other news, I'll just mention this. We'd also have this other statue that has been announced for Sokka. It's a 1/10 scale from Iron Studios. $220, Q1 2026. It's a nice, very early series Sokka with Momo on the front of the kind of canoe thing. It looks very nice, but it's a very expensive statue. To me, it's always the case. If a statue is over $100, it needs to do something super, super special. It needs to be that character and like this perfect, everything I want out of a statue of that character. And while it's very nice, I don't feel inclined to splash out for this particular figure. It's nice, but I don't really want that for that price, that whole idea. There's other stuff that I'm more waiting for them to do in statue form. Like I covered already, I don't think I've mentioned this in previous videos, Avatar Trivial Pursuit seems to be out now. I don't think too highly of it based on the preview kind of questions they cover here. Seems very basic. Maybe it is more complicated in some of the other cards, but that's there if you want it. And then yeah, Avatar Clue is also going to be a thing. Not sure it seems super interesting just from the visuals they give here of the whole setup here, but you know, it is what it is. And then the final thing to mention here is this. So this is a little bit of Avatar 7 Havens news that's been spread around a little bit. I don't know who exactly was maybe the first person to find this, but a few people have directed this screenshot to me. Because it obviously comes from LinkedIn. Someone who works at a specific animation studio, as you can see here, put up that they worked at the Armada TMT studio in Vietnam as part of an internship, and from July 2024 to September 2024, they worked as a 2D animation intern as a coloring artist for Avatar 7 Havens. So this confirms to us that at least one animation studio involved in 7 Havens is Armada TMT out of Vietnam. Now I assume there probably will be at least one other studio probably involved in 7 Havens, just because that's usually the way it kind of works with these type of things. We don't know the full situation with regards to how many studios they're getting involved. We know, of course, Flying Bark is involved with the Aang movie. We know Studio Mir have kind of recently, I guess, come on board for that movie as well. And now we know that this studio is involved with 7 Havens. It's just nice to know that we're starting to get some of this key kind of important information here, that we are, you know, getting all these different animation studios we've never seen work on Avatar before. And that's kind of interesting. There might be a slightly different feel to it because it's a different studio than we kind of thought it was going to be. So, you know, just stuff beginning to come together. Again, we're not expecting 7 Havens until like 2027, of course, because again, with the movie delayed until October 26, it's the first project. So the second project is going to come out afterwards, and they're going to have a little bit of separation. So we're expecting, I think, early 2027, but we'll see what exactly happens, of course. So exciting stuff there, just a little update on 7 Havens, but the big thing that I want your thoughts on in the comments is just, hey, what are your thoughts on this? A pretty big plan for Avatar at San Diego Comic-Con. Sure, it doesn't seem to be what we truly want, which is a big blowout on the Avatar Studios projects, but a giant booth on the show floor, 4 panels. Admittedly, one of them's kind of like a duplicate thing, but still, they're really pushing the merch. We're getting our standard publishing panel, and then this could be something interesting, could be nothing, and that's kind of interesting. What do you think about the SDCC lineup for Avatar? Let me know in the comments below, but otherwise, that's been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.